it going, Reef Builders? Jake Adams here, and I got a shorty little video for you today. There's a couple of principles about protein skimming that I've always found really hard to explain, and this is the relationship between the air intake of a protein skimmer and the water level in which the protein skimmer sits. So, funny enough, when I was in Australia, I picked up a really cool little gadget by Aquametic, this little airflow meter, and I've had it installed for a little while. And since installing it, I've really been able to dial in my protein skimmer in really cool, creative ways. So I just want to show you basically the relationship between the height that the protein skimmer is sitting in and the air draw that it's pulling in without adjusting anything from airflow or the water level inside the protein skimmer, because I've already got it dialed in inside the body pretty well. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's a sneak peek at the reef, but what I really want to show you is down below here on my sump. So I've got my trusty Vertex Omega 150 just totally cranking full of air. It's full of skimmate. That's just a few days worth of skimmate. And I've put a sticky note at the normal operating water level of the sump. And so I'm very familiar with the air draw and the function of the skimmer at this particular water level. And over here, you can see what I mean. I've got my little control center set up with all my device controllers. And here's the airflow meter from Aquametic. And you can see that the ball basically hovers right at around 400 liters of air per hour. So this is kind of the normal operating level of the skimmer. I don't know if it's absolutely precise, but it gives me a ballpark of what this protein skimmer should be running at. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit the feed button right there, and that should raise the water level in my sump about an inch. So let's go ahead and watch that. It doesn't take too long. So yeah, there you go. So you can see that the height of the internal chamber has actually risen by a good inch and a quarter, a solid 3 centimeters higher. The skimmer is still full of air, and it's starting to overflow just a little bit because the water level inside the skimmer has risen. And I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to see here, but the ball is actually running a little bit lower than it usually does. So it's hovering right at about 375. And this is, like I said, not the most precise thing, but I'm gonna do the inverse. I'm going to turn the pump back on and drain some water and lower the sump level so we can see what happens when I lower the water level inside the sump. All right, so I've dropped the water level quite dramatically just so I can get a really significant difference between the normal water level, and the skimmer obviously doesn't like it. It's got an optimal water level operating height, and I need to hurry up before my top off kind of makes up for this with fresh water. But over here on the airflow meter, you can clearly see that the indicator ball is hovering a lot closer to 500 liters of air per hour than it was at 400. So let me put this back together, and then we can have a quick discussion about what all this means. So I hope you enjoyed that little primer, just kind of showing off the difference between the water level height that the skimmer is running at and how much air it draws, because there's an optimal water level for just about every protein skimmer. And after using this one for so many years, like I kind of have an idea, and it's right around like 7 inches. Give or take an inch or two, it will matter in the long term how well your protein skimmer runs. So when people say this skimmer works and this one doesn't, there's no instructions that for protein skimmers that really explains the relationship between the water level height that the skimmer's running at and how much air it's going to draw. So one thing that's really important to note is that the airflow meter is absolutely not accurate. I don't even think I have it sealed to the air intake of the protein skimmer, but it gives me a relative value, and that relative value is really important because it helps me know what my protein skimmer is doing. So it'll tell me very quickly, very easily if the venturi gets clogged or if I need to clean out the air silencer. But it's a really cool accessory from Aquametic. I can't believe I had to find it in Australia. But yeah, I think it's really cool. Every protein skimmer should have one. I think this one's good for about 1,000 liters of air per hour. However, the sweet spot is going to be about 500 liters of air per hour, because if it's running at 1,000, you're going to have a lot more variability. So yeah, I actually look forward to maybe finding some more digital airflow meters in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to try to make more kind of quickie just illustrations of things about our reef tanks without getting like super involved, so I can do them pretty quickly and crank them out pretty often. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'm gonna go see a really cool tank this afternoon, a beautiful nano reef tank. So definitely want to subscribe and stay tuned for that one. And I'll catch you guys in a couple days.